So the rumor was that she had buried her in the
Oh
backyard.
my goodness. All right, welcome back. This is the segment of the show where we talk about the crazy, funny, scary stories that happen every day in real estate. Raisa and I are going to be giving you just a little taste of what we deal with. So going back to my early days, my clients put in the offer and we purchased the house, and we included all the chattels that were included, the appliances, the light fixtures, the drapes, like standard stuff, right? So keep in mind, I was still very new in the business. So when we were going through the property and making all of these additions, the mirrors in the bathroom, everything that the client wanted to have included. And in the backyard, there was a gazebo, and there was some patio furniture, and there was this Japanese maple tree. So the gazebo wasn't included. They had said they were going to take it, and they said they were going to take the patio furniture as well. My clients were fine with that. Fast forward to the closing day. The sellers left a nice bottle of champagne in the fridge for the new buyers, which was great. But I get a call from my buyers saying the tree is missing. And I said, the tree's missing? What tree's missing? And they said the Japanese maple tree was missing. And I was shocked. I didn't expect someone to dig up a tree and take it with them. But in this case, as it turns out, that tree was a gift for when their daughter was born or their first child was born. So it was a relatively small tree, and they wanted to take it with them. So lesson learned, include everything you want. So moving forward from that experience, I would include all trees and shrubs, as planted. So these are the little things that we deal with.
Yeah, even though they're not supposed to take the trees.
Technically, yeah, because so this is what we learned. If it requires a tool, that's the rule. So if something is just hanging on the wall, then technically that's not a fixture, it's a chattel. But if you need some type of a tool to now remove it, that's a fixture. So lesson learned, include everything you want.
It's a great lesson learned. And on top of including everything that you want is doing your due diligence around the property that your clients are buying. So I had a client that was interested in a property, and it was a century-old home. So it was built in the early 1900s, and it was in Caledon. It was a beautiful property. It had additions. It had a huge, enormous backyard, and we were walking the property. And then I said to her, it's an older home. There's always a lot of history. So I'm going to knock on some of the neighbors' doors. And down the street, there's a little general store. So I'm going to just pop in there and see if anyone knows anything about the house. So my client says, great. She drives off. So I go to the little general store there, and I said, hey, I'm Raisa, and I was just showing this property. And before I could even say what the address was, she said, yeah, you're showing the house down the street. That's the one with the little girl buried in the backyard. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, a little girl buried in the backyard? Like, did someone kill someone? Like, what's happening? So she said, no, in the early 1900s, the family that had originally built the house and was living there, that unfortunately their little girl had passed away from what they thought was probably scarlet fever. And the mom was so distraught that she didn't want to bury her in the cemetery. So the rumor was that she had buried her in the backyard.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And so for some people, that could be associated as a stigma on the property. And especially everyone knows. So I went on this whole hike where I called all the churches in the area. I looked up the history, the original owners of the family. I actually walked the two cemeteries that were there to see if I could find if the little girl had been buried in the cemeteries. And in the end, my client, for her, it was a little bit too much. So she didn't put an offer on the property. And I called the agent and said, hey, you need to disclose this because this could be a stigma on the property. Because the agent knew. He said, oh, yeah, everyone knows. And I said, but if your buyer, if that's tough for them to deal with, right, you can't. So from now on, when my clients are buying properties, I tend to knock on doors next door just in case someone knows something about the house or townhouse that they're buying.
100%. Lessons learned.
Good lessons learned. So, and we're happy to share these with you. Until next time.
Until next time.